Wow, 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 wow. Oh, no, no, no. I got two, didn't I? This one, that one. I got two. Internet, 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 YouTube, Hector, Intermix Hector, YouTube channel, Intermix Hector, YouTube channel, subscribe. Tits out, punch out, tits out, punch out. Technology, technology.
NVIDIA CPU versus GPU graphic chip news. Google search. 3 days ago, the gaming GPU maker reportedly has a new consumer PC ARM CPU in the works, set to challenge the AMD Ryzen and Intel Core duopoly. October 24, 2024, Franz estimates that there are around 1 billion RISC-V cores shipping within the 2024 NVIDIA chips alone to grasp the scale at which they are relying on RISC. March 18, 2024, it combines 36 Grace Blackwell superchips, which include 72 Blackwell GPUs and 36 Grace CPUs interconnected by 5th generation NVLink. June 4, 2024, emails circulated inside NVIDIA show that Elon Musk was telling the chipmaker to prioritize shipments of GPUs to X and Xi ahead of Tesla. All rumors say 8000 series is not going to raise the performance ceiling. Likely a 8800 XT type card that will be somewhere around 7900 XT or XTX-like. News, September 22, 2024 129 rumor, NVIDIA RTX 4090 and 4090D to be discontinued next month 340 Ryzen 9000 CPU suffering worst launch since. 9 key moments in this video. Missing ship. Show results with ship. Why NVIDIA might cancel their fastest GPU. Tech News September 22. Paul's Hardware. January 8, 2024, the GeForce RTX 4080 Super generates AI video 1.5x faster and images 1.7x faster than the GeForce RTX 3080 Ti GPU. The Tensor cores in Super. August 10, 2024, currently rendering and local GPU compute is NVIDIA dominated and I don't see AMD competently going after the market segments. The idea is to compare each class of GPU on a given generation with the top tier die available for that generation. March 4, 2023, with 30.34 million desktop discrete graphics processors sold in 2022, NVIDIA maintained rather strong unit shipments and grabbed market share. Grace Hopper, NVIDIA's halfway APU, Hacker News. NVIDIA still has 12-16 GB RAM offerings for around $300-400, which are exceptionally well optimized and supported on the software side. Still by far the most cost-effective option if you also value your time MO. The Strix Halo better have high-tier Mac-level bandwidth plus ROCm support and be priced below $1K or it's just not competitive with that because it'll still be slower than even partial CUDA offloading. It has 80 Bs BW from its dual-channel DDR5 implementations. I really don't think AMD is dogfitting any of their ML toolkits, which is a shame. I remember reading Jihad Advocate for 7900 XTX as a cost-effective card for deep learning. I read AMD is backing off from the high-end GPU market, though. Is there any chance they will at least continue to offer cards with lots of RAM? The cloud is more efficient at utilizing hardware. Except for low latency or low connection requirements, the move to cloud will continue. You may be seeing something that isn't there. I don't even know if MI300 is available to buy, what it costs. Or if you'll be forced to buy 4 of them, which would push prices close to DGX territory anyway. That matters more to the electricity company than the silicon company. The profit margins on the data center training hardware are stupidly high compared to an AMD APU. If there are tens of thousands of training GPUs but billions of APUs, then what? BTW. Training is such a high cost that it seems like a major motive for the customer to reduce costs there. If there are tens of thousands of training GPUs but billions of APUs, then what? Believe it or not, we've actually been grappling with this scenario for almost a decade at this point. Originally the answer was to unite hardware manufacturers around a common feature set that could compete with, albeit not replace, CUDA. Khronos was prepared to elevate OpenClaw to an industry standard, but Apple pulled their support for it and let the industry collapse into proprietary competition again. I bet they're kicking themselves over that one if they still hold a stronger grudge against NVIDIA than Khronos at least. So, logically, there's actually a one-size-fits-all solution for this problem. It was even going to get managed by the same people handling Vulkan. The problem was corporate greed and short-sighted investment that let OpenClaw languish while CUDA was under active heavy development. BTW, training is such a high cost that it seems like a major motive for the customer to reduce costs there. That's kinda like saying app development is so expensive that consumers will eventually care. Consumers just buy the end product, they are never exposed to building the software or concerned with the cost of the development. This is especially true with businesses like OpenAI that just give you free access to a decent LLM, or Apple and their it's free for now mentality. I think this is the big point of uncertainty in NVIDIA's future. Will we find new training techniques which require significantly less compute? And/or are better suited to some fundamentally different architecture than GPUs? I'm reluctant to bet no on that long term. And long term for ML right now is not very long. If we find a new training technique that is that much more efficient, why do you think we won't just increase the amount of training we do n times? Or even more, since it's now accessible to train custom models for smaller businesses. We might, but it's also plausible that it would change the ecosystem so much that centralized models are no longer so prominent. For example, suppose that with much cheaper training, most training is on your specific data and behavior so that you have a model, or ensemble of models, tailored to your own needs. You still need a foundation model, but those are much smaller so that they can run on device. So even with over-parameterization and distillation, the training costs are orders of magnitude smaller. Or, in the small business case, mind you, long-term for tech reaching small businesses is Loon. These businesses again need much smaller models because they don't need a model well first in Shakespeare and multivariable calculus. And B, they want inference to be as low cost as possible. These are just scenarios off the top of my head. The broader point is that a dramatic drop in training cost is a wild card whose effects are really hard to predict. If one of those scenarios happens, maybe NVIDIA can pivot, or if we see analog take over, we could see something really bizarre like a dark horse like Seagate taking over by pivoting from SSDs. Just because their manufacturing pipeline is more compatible. Powerwall and electric car in the garage, compute wall in the closet, 3D printer and other building tools in the manufacturing room. Hydroponic setup in the indoor farm room, and AI assistant to help manage it all. The home becomes a mixed living area and factory. However, I think we need AI beyond current LLMs to really take us there. I'm not saying LLMs can't get us there, we don't know, just beyond what we have. We need AI that we can trust with real tasks IRL. Powerwall makes sense because you can't generate energy at any time and, therefore, you store it. Computers are not like that. You don't store computations for when you need them, you either use capacity or you don't. That makes it practical to centralize computing and only pay for what you use. I was going to make a pedantic argument joke about memoization. It is kind of an interesting thought though. A big wall of SSD is a fabulous amount of storage. And maybe a clever read-only architecture would be cheaper than SSD. And a clever data structure for shared high-order bits, maybe. Maybe there is potential for some device to look up matrix multiply results or close approximations that could be cheaply refined. Right now, I doubt it. But big static cache it is a kind of interesting idea to kick around Saturday afternoon. I was going to make a pedantic argument joke about memoization. You are reading the GP the wrong way around. You store partial results exactly because you can't store computation. Computation is perishable, you either use it or lose it. And one way to use it is to create partial results you can save for later. Partially so. Hardware utilization is perishable, but computation also consumes inputs, mostly energy, that aren't. How much it perishable depends on the ratio of those two costs, and your mobile phone has a completely different outlook from a supercomputer. I didn't mean compute wall in the sense of storage of compute, but in a sense of client-server model where client, compute wall, maybe made of DGX2, could continue to function independently in cases of natural calamity or other issues. I am really surprised to see the performance of the CPU and especially the latency characteristics are so poor. The article alludes to the design likely being tuned for specific workloads, which seems like a good explanation. But I can't help wonder if throughput at the cost of high memory latency is just not a good strategy for CPUs even with the excellent excellent branch predictors and clever work that modern C+ bring to the table. Is this a bad take? Are we just not seeing the intended use case where this thing really shines compared? But I can't help wonder if throughput at the cost of high memory latency is just not a... How much it perishable depends on the ratio of those two costs, and your mobile phone has a completely different outlook from a supercomputer. I didn't mean compute wall in the sense of storage of compute, but in a sense of client-server model where client, compute wall, maybe made of DGX2, could continue to function independently in cases of natural calamity or other issues. I am really surprised to see the performance of the CPU and especially the latency characteristics are so poor. The article alludes to the design likely being tuned for specific workloads, which seems like a good explanation. But I can't help wonder if throughput at the cost of high memory latency is just not a good strategy for C++ even with the excellent branch predictors and clever work that modern C++ bring to the table. Is this a bad take? Are we just not seeing the intended use case where this thing really shines compared to anything else? What's the point of having the GPU on die for this? Are they expecting people to deploy one of these nodes without dedicated GPUs? It has a ton of NFLink connections, which makes me think that these will often be deployed alongside GPUs, which feels weird. The flip side of this is if the GPU can access the main system memory, then I could see this being useful for loading big models with much more efficient offloading of layers. Even though bandwidth between GPU minus LPDDR5 is going to be slow, it's still faster than what traditional PCIe would allow. The caveat here is that I imagine these machines are $, and enterprise only. If something like this was brought to the consumer market, though, I think it would be very enticing. If anybody from AMD is reading this, I feel like an architecture like this would be awesome to have. I would love to run Llama 3.1405B at home, and today I see zero path towards doing that for any reasonable amount of money. $10K. Edit. It's at the bottom of the article. These are designed to be meshed together via NFLink into one big cluster. Makes sense. I'm really curious how the system RAM would be used in LLM training scenarios. Or if these boxes are going to be used for totally different tasks that I have little context into. We're using the OrNG-X for Edge ML. Not the same setup, Ampere, but it's a similar situation. The GPU is excellent for what we need it to do, but the CPU cores are painful. We're lucky. The C+ aren't great, but there's 12 of them and we can get away with carefully pipelining our data flows across multiple threads to get the throughput we need, even though some individual stage latencies aren't what we'd like. I'd really like to get hold of a model for a modern CPU and properly analyze what all the performance features actually get us in terms of performance. Branch prediction and speculative execution, out-of-order execution, massive physical register files and register renaming, cache predictors, and many more, I'm sure. Speculative execution is the big one for me, just because of the information leakage possible through it. It's there because you'd have to pause fetching new instructions until the result of a conditional branch is known, which has knock-on effects to instruction scheduling. But how big are these effects? Do some certain combinations of features supercharge or work against each other? I'm sure there's people looking at such things inside Intel and AMD, but it doesn't seem like there's much out there for public consumption. These C+ are intended just to run miscellaneous tasks, such as loading AI models or running the cluster operating system. They don't need to be performant, just efficient, as the GPU does all the heavy lifting. NVIDIA also provides an option to swap the Grace chips out with an x86 chip, which could deliver better performance depending on the remaining power budget. Though, if this is all there is to it, why do they have the high frequency and high L3 cache? Those seem to be optimizing for something. Not just a good enough configuration for a part that is not the bottleneck. Data augmentation in CPU space is often compute light, but requires rapid access to memory. There are libraries, like NVIDIA's DALL-E, that can do augmentation on the GPU, but this takes up GPU resources that could be used by training. Having a multi-core CPU with fast caches is a good compromise. And yet PS4, Xbox One rule the games console market still, because only more polygons isn't worth buying a PS5 or X series for a large market segment. Hence the negative sales and trying to cater to PC gamers as alternative. Yes, I was making the point that the C+ in PS4/Xbone were terrible. Seriously, look up benchmarks. They're basically underclocked pre-Ryzen AMD. It didn't matter for performance because video game workloads are so heavily skewed towards GPU. I know they were successful. Irrelevant, but the intro reminded me that NVIDIA also used to dabble in chipsets like Enforce, back when there was supplier variety and such. The transition point was when Intel moved the DRAM controller and PCI root complex onto the CPU die, merging in the North Bridge and leaving the South Bridge as the only separate part of the chipset. The disappearance of the front side bus meant Intel platforms no longer had a good place for an integrated GPU other than on the CPU package itself. And it was years before Intel's IGPUs caught up to the NVIDIA 9400 meters IGPU. In principle, NVIDIA could have made chipsets for Intel's newer platforms where the South Bridge connects to the CPU over what is essentially 4 lanes of PCI, but Intel locked out third parties from that market. But there wasn't much room for NVIDIA to provide any significant advantages over Intel's own chipsets, except perhaps by undercutting some of Intel's product segmentation. On the AMD side, the DRAM controller was on the CPU starting in 2003, but there was still a separate North bridge for providing IP/PCI. With a relatively high-speed hypertransport linked to the CPU. AMD dropped HD starting with their Opus in 2011 and the rest of the desktop processor starting with the introduction of the Ryzen family. The argument was before that transition. The contentious point was that NVIDIA had a license to the bus for P6 Arch by virtue of Xbox, but did not have a license for the P4 bus. AMD was also more than happy to have NVIDIA build chipsets for Hammer etc., especially due to them not having a video core. At the time Once the AMD ATI merger started, that was the real writing on the wall. NVIDIA's chipset line for Intel motherboard started with the Pentium 4. There may have been relationship issues between the two companies that prevented NVIDIA from entering the Intel chipset market sooner using a derivative of their Xbox chipset. But none of that has anything to do with what tended to enforce chipsets for Intel. Soundstorm versus Dolby is such a turning point story. NVIDIA had a 5 billion op SDSP and Dolby Digital encoding on that chipset. Computers were coming into their own as powerful universal systems that could do anything. Then Dolby canceled the license. To this day you still need very fancy sound cards or exotic motherboards to be able to output good surround sound to a large number of off receivers. There are some OpenDeet standards that Linux can do too, to know about Windows/Mac. But it just felt like we slid so far down that Dolby went and made everything so much worse. Media software can do Dolby pass-through to let the high-quality sound files through, yes. But this means you can't do any effect processing, like audio normalization compression for example. And if you are playing games your amp may be getting only basic low-quality surround, not the good many-channel stuff. There's some debate about what patents apply, but even Dolby had to admit defeat as of 2017. So yes, a 640 kbit/S6 channel format is available for encoding on FFmpeg and some others. I don't know if games are smart enough to use this. It also feels like a very low bar. It's not awful bitrate for 6 channels, but neither is it great. It's not a pitiful number of channels, but again neither is it great. Last and most crucially, just because one piece of software can emit AC3 doesn't make it particularly useful for a system. I should be able to have multiple different apps doing surround sound, sending notifications to back channels or panning sounds as I prefer. Yes, FFmpeg can encode 5.1 media audio to an AVR, but that doesn't really substitute for an actual surround system. This is more a software problem, now that the 5.1 AC3 patents are expired. And there have been some stacks in the past where this worked on Linux, for example. But it seems like modern hardware, with a sound open firmware, has changed a bit and Pipewire needs to come up with a new way of doing AC3/A52. Encoding.https://gitlab.freedostock.org/pipewire/pipewire/minus/issue/32. I once went down a rabbit hole of trying to get real-time AC3 encoding on my desktop PC, and I broadly failed. That was a long time ago. It is now 2024. Do we still need that today? For modern UFRES we have HDMI, with 8 channels worth of up to 24-bit 192 kHz lossless digital audio baked in. For old UFRES with multi-channel analog inputs, motherboards with 6 or 8 channels of built-in audio are still common enough, as are separate sound cards with similar functionality. What's the advantage of real-time AC3 encoding today, do you suppose? In my tests of a Supermicro ARS111 Goenner with NVIDIA GH200 chipset, I found that my benchmarks performed far better with the RHEL 9 Arch 64 plus 64K kernel versus the standard Arch 64 kernel, particularly with LLM workloads. Which kernel was used in these tests? NVIDIA's Grace Hopper isn't quite that, it's primarily a GPU with a bit of CPU sprinkled in, hence halfway I guess. Here's my reasoning of what an APU is based on letter indices. If A is 1, C is 3 and G is 7, then to get an APU, you need to do what it takes to go from GPU to a CPU, and then apply an extra 50% effort. It's interesting to me that they've settled on using standard Neoverse cores, when almost everything else is custom designed and tuned for the expected workloads. Already in NVIDIA Orin, which has replaced Xavier with Carmel cores, a couple of years ago, the CPU cores have been Cortex A78A. So NVIDIA has given up on designing CPU cores, already for some years. The Carmel core had a performance similar to Cortex A75, even if it was launched by the time when Cortex A76 was already available. Moreover, Carmel had very low clock frequencies, which diminished its performance even more. Like also Qualcomm or Samsung, NVIDIA has not been able to keep up with the ARM Holdings design teams. Now Qualcomm is back in the CPU design business only because they have acquired Nuvia. The downside is Genoa X has more than 1 GB of last-level cache, and a single core only allocates into 96 MB of it. I wonder if AMD could license the IBM Talum cache implementation where one core complex could offer unused cache lines to other cores, increasing overall occupancy. Would be quite neat. Even if cross-complex bandwidth and latency is not awesome, it still should be better than hitting DRAM. It always made sense to have a single chip instead of 2. I just want to buy a single package with both things on the same die. That might make things much simpler for people who write kernel, drivers and video games. The history of CPU and GPU prevented that. It was always more profitable for CPU and GPU vendors to sell them separately. Having 2 specialized chips makes more sense because it's flexible, but since frequencies are stagnating, having more cores makes sense. And AI means massively parallel things are not only for graphics. Smartphones are much modern in that regard. Nobody upgrades their GPU or CPU anymore, might as well have a single soldered product that lasts a long time instead. That may not be the end of building your own computer, but I just hope it will make things simpler and in a smaller package. It's not about profit, it's about power and pin budget. Proper GPU needs lots of memory bandwidth equals lots of memory dedicated pins. HBM kinda solves this, but has tons of other issues. And on power thermal side, having 2 chips each with dedicated power circuits, heat sinks and radiators is always better than one. The only reason not to have 2 chips is either space, that's why we have integrated graphics and it sucks. Performance-wise, packaging costs, not really a concern for consumer GPU CPU where we are now, or interconnect costs, but for both gaming and compute CPU GPU. Bandwidth is negligible compared to GPU RAM. The article talks about the difference in the prefetcher between the 2 Neoverse setups, Graviton and Gracehopper. However, isn't the prefetcher part of the core design in Neoverse? How would they differ? I believe the difference is in the cache hierarchy, more L3 less L2, and generally high latency to DRAM even higher latency to HBM. This makes the prefetcher behave differently between the 2 implementations because the L2 cache isn't able to absorb the latency. Without knowing whether the operations have been performed on FP32 or on FP16 or on another data type, all the numbers written on that page are meaningless. I'm torn. Nvidia has a fucking insane brain trust of some of the most elite hackers in both software and extreme cutting-edge digital logic. You do not want to meet an Nvidia. Without knowing whether the operations have been performed on FP32 or on FP16 or on another data type, all the numbers written on that page are meaningless. I'm torn. Nvidia has a fucking insane brain trust of some of the most elite hackers in both software and extreme cutting-edge digital logic. You do not want to meet an Nvidia graybeard in a dark alley, they will fuck you up. But this bullshit with Jensen signing girls' breasts like he's Robert Plant and telling young people to learn prompt engineering instead of C++ and generally pulling a pump and dump shamelessly while wearing a leather jacket. Fuck that. If LLMs could write cut and caliber kernels, that's how you would do it. It's okay in my book to live the rockstar life for the 15 minutes until someone other than Lisa Su ships an FMA unit. The 3T cap and the forward PE and the market manipulation and the dated signature apparel are still cringe, and if I had the capital and trading facility to leap doom the stock, I'd want as much as there is. The fact that your CPU sucks just proves this isn't about real competition just now. This is Y Combinator. Gary Tan is still tweeting embarrassing utopianism to faint applause, and at PG is still vaguely endorsing a rapidly decaying pseudo-argument that we're north of securities fraud. At Wendy's I get a burger that's a little smaller every year. On this I get Enron but smoothed over by Dustin's open philanthropy lobbyism. I'll take the burger. Edit. Tinygrad is brat. YC is old and quite weird. I'm not important enough to do opposition research on, it bewilders me that anyone cares. I was 25 when I apologized for trolling too much on HN, and frankly I've posted worse comments since. It's a hazard of posting to a noteworthy and highly scrutinized community under one's own name over decades. I'd like to renew the apology for the low quality, low value comments that have happened since. I answer to the community on that. To you specifically, I'll answer in the way you imply to anyone with the minerals to grow up online under their trivially permanent handle. My job opportunities and livelihood move up and down with the climate on my attitudes in this forum, but I never adopted a pseudonym. In spite of your early join date, which I respect in general as a default, I remain perplexed at what you've wagered to the tune of authenticity. It's my hope that this thread is over. You joined early, I've been around even longer. You can find a penitent post from me about an aspiration of higher quality participation. I don't have automation set up to cherry pick your comments in under a minute. My username is my real name, my profile includes further pay. Your account looks familiar, but if anyone recognizes it on site, it's a regime that postdates. At PG handing the steering wheel to Altman in a battery club sort of way. With all the respect to a fellow community member possible, and it's not much, kindly fuck yourself with something sharp. There's no drama as far as I'm concerned. I got a sensible chuckle from your comment and figured it deserved a tickle in return, the obvious vector being anyone here since 2008 has earned a tweak for calling the HN crowd old, something many can agree with. My opposition research was entirely 2 clicks, profile, see account age, submissions, see oldest. As for pseudonyms, I've been online since Usenet and have never once felt the need to advertise on the newfangled web 1.0, 2.0, or 3. Handles were good enough for ham radio, and TWKM, those who know me know who I am, and it's not at all that interesting unless you like yarns about onions on belts and all that jazz. I'm pretty autistic. After haggling with Mistral, this is what it says a neurotypical person would say to diffuse a conflict. I want to apologize sincerely for my recent comments, particularly my last response to you. Upon reflection, I realize that my words were hurtful, disrespectful, and completely inappropriate. Especially given the lighthearted nature of your previous comment. I am truly sorry for any offense or harm I may have caused. Your comment was clearly intended as a friendly jest, and I regret that I responded with such hostility. There is no excuse for my behavior, and I am committed to learning from this mistake and ensuring it does not happen again. I also want to address my earlier comments in this thread. I now understand that my attempts to justify my past behavior and dismiss genuine concerns came across as defensive and disrespectful. Instead of taking responsibility for my actions, I tried to deflect and downplay their impact, which only served to escalate the situation. I value this community and the opportunity it provides for open dialogue and growth. I understand that my actions have consequences, and I am determined to be more mindful, respectful, and considerate in my future interactions. I promise to strive for higher quality participation and to treat all members of this community with the kindness and respect they deserve. Once again, I am truly sorry for my offensive remarks and any harm they may have caused. I appreciate the understanding and patience you and the community have shown, and I hope that my future actions will reflect my commitment to change and help rebuild any trust that may have been lost. Cheers for that, it's a good apology. Again, no drama, my sincere apologies for inadvertently poking an old issue, there was no intent to be hurtful on my part. I have a thick skin, I'm Australian, we're frostily polite to those we despise and call you names if we like you, it can be off-putting to some.
So the Hacker News has got a forum. Oh yeah, it's got a forum. You can subscribe to it. I don't know how.
GitHub, Dan Davison/Delta, syntax highlighting pager for git diff, grep, and blame output. Install it. The package is called git delta in most package managers, but the executable is just delta, and add this to your /.gitconfig. Core pager equals delta interactive diff filter equals delta, color only delta navigate equals true #use n and n to move between diff sections #delta detects terminal colors. Automatically, set one of these to disable auto detection #dark equals true #light equals true merge conflict style equals zdiff3. Delta has many features and is very customizable, please see Thuser manual. Language syntax highlighting with the same syntax highlighting themes as BAT. Word level diff highlighting using 11.
Why does someone create a color detector so when the computer whatever, it's detected a color. Oh, you were doing a video, you were doing something and detected the website color.
Levenstein edit inference algorithm. Side-by-side view with line wrapping. Line numbering. NAND key bindings to move between files and large diffs, and between diffs and libp views -navigate. Improved merge conflict display. Improved blame display, syntax highlighting -hyperlinks formats commits as links to hosting provider etc. Supported hosting providers are GitHub, GitLab, SourceHut, Codeberg. Syntax highlights grep output from RG, git grep, etc. Support for gits -color moved feature. Code can be copied directly from the diff /+ markers are removed by default. Diff highlight and diff SOFAN simulation modes. Commit hashes can be formatted as terminal hyperlinks to the hosting provider page -hyperlinks. File paths can also be formatted as hyperlinks for opening in your OS. Stylable box line decorations to draw attention to commit, file and hunk header sections. Style strings, foreground color, background color, font attributes are supported for 20 styles. Stylable elements, using the same color style language as Git. Handles traditional unified diff output in addition to Git output. Automatic detection of light dark terminal background. A syntax highlighting pager for Git, diff, and grep output. Code evolves, and we all spend time studying diffs. Delta aims to make this both efficient and enjoyable. It allows you to make extensive changes to the layout and styling of diffs, as well as allowing you to stay arbitrarily close to the default Git diff output. Delta with line numbers activated. Delta with side-by-side and line numbers activated. Here's what it show can look like with Git configure to use Delta. Syntax highlighting themes. All the syntax highlighting color themes that are available with Beta are available with Delta. User manual. Delta side-by-side equals true. By default, side-by-side view has line numbers activated and has syntax highlighting in both the left and right panels. Config. Side-by-side view wraps long lines automatically. User manual. Delta line numbers equals true. User manual. User manual. User manual. Please see Thuser manual and Delta -help. At Dan Davison. At TH1000S. Out/out at 0.1 -350 meters, hugging face. Model description. Autet 0.1-350 meters is a novel text-to-speech synthesis model that leverages pure language modeling without external adapters or complex architectures. Built upon the Llama architecture using our Out3-350 meters dev-base model, it demonstrates that high-quality speech synthesis is achievable through a straightforward approach using crafted prompts and audio tokens. Key features: pure language modeling approach to TTS. Voice cloning capabilities. Llama architecture. Compatible with llama.cpp and GIGA format. Technical details. The model utilizes a three-step approach to audio processing. Audio tokenization using WAV tokenizer, processing 75 tokens per second. CTC forced alignment for precise word-to-audio token mapping. Structured prompt creation following the format. Full transcription word duration token audio tokens. Technical blog. https://www.out.com/blog/outet 0.1-350 meters. Limitations. Being an experimental v0.1 release, there are some known issues. Vocabulary constraints due to training data limitations. String-only input support. Given its compact 350 meters parameter size, the model may frequently alter, insert, or omit wrong words, leading to variations in output quality. Variable temperature sensitivity depending on use case. Performs best with shorter sentences, as accuracy may decrease with longer inputs. Speech samples. Listen to samples generated by Autet 0.1-350 meters. Input. Audio. Notes. Hello, I can speak pretty well, but sometimes I make some mistakes. Temperature equals 0.1, repetition penalty equals 1.1. Once upon a time, there was a temperature equals 0.1, repetition penalty equals 1.1. Scientists have discovered a new planet that may be capable of supporting life. Using the Q4KM quantized model. Temperature equals 0.7, repetition penalty equals 1.1. Scientists have discovered a new planet that may be capable of supporting life. The model partially failed to follow the input text. Temperature equals 0.1, repetition penalty equals 1.1. Scientists have discovered a new planet that may be capable of supporting life. In this case, changing to a higher temperature from 0.1 to 0.7 produces more consistent output. Temperature equals 0.7, repetition penalty equals 1.1. Installation. Usage. Interface usage. From attets.v0_1. Interface import interface f. Interface qf interface equals interface f out/outet 0.1-3. Sora, OpenAI. Research leads Bill Peebles and Tim Brooks. Systems led Connor Holmes. Core contributors: Clarence Zhang, David Skner, Eric Lemon, Joe Taylor, Li Jing, Natalie Summers, Ricky Wang, Rohan Saha, Ryan O'Rourke, Troy Lemon, Will Deppel, Yufi Guo. Special thanks Avi Nayak, Bob McGrew, Brad Lightcap, Chad Nelson, David Medina, Gabriel Go, Greg Bruckman, Hannah Wong, Ian Sol, Jamie Kiros, James Becker, Jason Kwan, Jungwook Kim, Mark Chen, Michelle Fraden, Mira Marathi, Nick Turley, Peter Hostel, Prafula Darawal, Rowan Zellers, Sam Altman. OpenAI. Chat about email, screenshots, files, and anything on your screen. Tips, tricks, Sora AI tool, Sora hidden features, Google search. Sora AI, all you need to know, how to use it, hidden feature and limitations. Prof lead. Sora AI can make videos loop effortlessly, which is something quite difficult to achieve with current technology. 10 things you didn't know about OpenAI's new AI, Sora AI Uncovered. I'll show you the methods of how to make money with Sora, ranging from Satan Forget methods such as creating a video to then sell on stock footage websites. How to use Sora. Tips, tricks, Sora AI tools, Sora hidden features. Google search. Sora AI, all you need to know. How to use it, hidden feature and limitations. Prof lead. Sora AI can make videos loop effortlessly, which is something quite difficult to achieve with current technology. 10 things you didn't know about OpenAI's new AI. Sora AI uncovered. Sora AI, all you need to know. How to use it, hidden feature and limitations. Prof lead. I want you to know all the latest information, which is why in today's article, I'll talk about the mind-blowing AI that was released a few days ago. If you want to know more details, please read this article till the end. About Sora AI. OpenAI announces a new AI called Sora. This AI can create a video from your text. That's insane. I believe it will be very useful for content creators, filmmakers, web developers, and others who work with this kind of content. The new model aims to convert text to video. It can generate a video from plain text. Sora is not available to the public yet, but OpenAI has already shown amazing videos made by Sora. Check them out. Video by Sora AI. Example of prompt, animated scene features a close-up of a short fluffy monster kneeling beside a melting red candle. The art style is 3D and realistic, with a focus on lighting and texture. The mood of the painting is one of wonder and curiosity, as the monster gazes at the flame with wide eyes and open mouth. Its pose and expression convey a sense of innocence and playfulness, as if it is exploring the world around it for the first time. The use of warm colors and dramatic lighting further enhances the cozy atmosphere of the image. Amazing, right? Let me show you a few other prompts and the results. Prompt, a young man at his 20s is sitting on a piece of cloud in the sky, reading a book. Prompt, a cat waking up its sleeping owner demanding breakfast. The owner tries to ignore the cat, but the cat tries new tactics, and finally the owner pulls out a secret stash of treats from under the pillow to hold the cat off a little longer. This model will definitely change the way we create videos. It's an amazing tool for visual artists. Sora is able to generate complex scenes with multiple characters, specific types of motion, and accurate details of the subject and background. The model understands not only what the user has asked for in the prompt, but also how those things exist in the physical world. https://openai.com/Sora. Limitation of Sora AI. At this time, Sora can create a video up to 1 minute long. It's a maximum size. The OpenAI team promised to ensure that it's safe to use before making it available to the public. To show you that Sora is not 100% perfect, please take a look at this video. Prompt, basketball through.
Hey guys, my name is Lon. And I hope you already missed me because I haven't been around for almost a week. I work really hard to find great content for you. And today I have something really special. I want you to know up-to-date information. That's why in today's video we're going to talk about new AI. It was released a few days ago, so I believe you should know.
Okay, I'm gonna react to the three, this one, and that one. I'm gonna react to them. Reaction. So I put on the schedule. Go to the first one.
While AI chatbots and AI generated video.
Okay, this guy is called BuyCloud. Subscribe to this bloke, BuyCloud.
In this year's MetaConnect, they announced Llama 3.2, a set of new language models. But unlike before, Llama 3.2 is not simply a direct improvement from the 3.1 series, but rather a range of new models derived from their bigger models. This release includes 4 models, a 1B and a 3B.
Subscribe to this guy, so I'm gonna go to the next one in a minute. So subscribe, whatever. They're talking about good shit, these guys, and then I'm leaving it.
published that because not a lot of people can run a 405B anyways. So these two Llama 3.2 vision models do also maintain the 128K context window, and on the benchmarks, they look surprisingly good. Meta has been teasing their vision model.
Llama. Yep. Talking about this is one to subscribe, to buy cloud. So the first one, this is the second one. This is the same one.
Rosas 2020.
Brown Star, Bro Star. Reacting Bro Star.
Do you want a free legendary star drop?
Yeah!
How about a free hypercharge star drop?
Yeah! The Brawl Stars World Finals are almost here.
By logging in with your Supercell ID to event,
To log in each day for a new round of predictions.
you can share your predictions with this hashtag, or you can search for it if you want to see others' predictions.
You can also earn points by watching the matches.
What are these guys doing? Some sport how to get all the free angelic anyway. Brawl Star, you have to go to Brawl Star. I didn't like Brawl Star. Didn't have nothing to do. Ooh, what you do? Don't do that, please.
Rosas 20. So AI News is on. So there's this Chinese company called Xpeng Motors, and they're actually focused mainly on cars. You can see that they mainly focus on making a
Okay, reacting to this video. What's the name of it again? In the middle, China status. China, it has to be in China, so China. What's the name? The A grid. China, Hector, China.
So there's this Chinese company called Xpeng Motors, and they're actually focused mainly on cars. You can see
Subscribe. Dios God. This is the God, Dios God. Subscribe. Intermix sector. Subscribe. Do something fucking incredible. I love you.
you can see that they mainly focus on making electric vehicles. But recently, they did something crazy. They actually had this AI day where they actually showcased a bunch of different technologies. You can see that they showcased off one of their new cars, something to do with one of their flying cars, a new insane, incredible AI chip, and of course, they introduced something to do with their new humanoid robots. Now, what's really crazy is that many people are basically stating that this company is going to be a huge competitor to Tesla in the future. If we look at the company's offerings that they have, and we look at some of the offerings that Tesla has, we can see that these companies operate in a very similar space: electric vehicles, humanoid robots, and advanced technology. Now, recently at this AI Day, one of the main takeaways that most people were paying attention to was the fact that they announced a new humanoid robot that is just absolutely incredible. So this humanoid robot is what they call Iron. Now, Iron is a crazy robot because I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is something that looks remarkably professional and looks like it does the job. Now, what's crazy about this is that this is a robot that they were working on for 5 years, meaning that this is not something that they shoddily put together due to the AI hype. This is a company that has been dedicated and has been focused and will show you exactly what they've been working on. So I'm going to show you guys this short clip right now.
weighs around 70 kilograms.
Why is China building a robot that is really intelligent? Why is this intelligent robotic with North Korea and South Korea going to Ukraine to fight wars with Russia? And are they against each other, or are they killing each other? Or why is North Korea joining Russia in the war? Why is China making an intelligent robotic?
Kilograms. So this robot actually is pretty smooth in terms of its entire movement. One of the things about Iron that is shocking most people is that this robot has a total of 62 degrees of freedom. Now, if you're not really familiar with what degrees of freedom
Maybe it's the right thing to do to create such a technology for advanced tutorial, or if anything that works, you fuck it up, fuck, you get fucked, motherfucker. Oh shit, I love you, technology advance, very good. YouTube, subscribe to Intermix Hector.
freedom means, it basically refers to the independent number of movements that a robot can make. And with 62 degrees of freedom, it actually means that this robot is quite complex and it has human-like motion. Now, this is pretty impressive because it allows, Iron to move a lot more with agility and more precision than most robots that are currently existing on the market. Now, another area where they've been able to really excel with this robot is, of course, the robot's hands. In this short clip here, you can see that the robot is able to flex how its hands moves, and we can see that they actually have 15 degrees of freedom, and it's designed to be very close in size and function to human hands, which basically means that, this is going to be a robot that's going to be able to do a lot of the similar tasks that you see humans do. Humans have really effective hands, and it's able to use those hands to be able to do a variety of different tasks. And that's why this company is currently taking the spotlight in terms of the world of humanoid robotics, because so far, when you work for 5 years on a product and then you unveil it, you seem to be a lot further on than those that have just been on their first iteration. So it seems like this is a company that clearly knows where they're headed and where they're going with their robotics. So it also shows as well, by making sure that their hands are this complex and precise and agile, that they want to do more than basic industrial work. They want to be able to perform detailed tasks with the same finesse as a human. Now, apparently as well, these hands actually come equipped with tactile feedback, which means that it's going to be able to handle different materials or even perform intricate assembly work. And the fact that they went this route means that they are tackling some serious problems, and it means that this robot is quite likely going to be applied to various different scenarios and not just the simple ones that most people are thinking of when we think about humanoid robots. Now, one of the things that was really crazy is that the robot in itself, we actually get to see the CEO talk about the way how the robot walks. So in the short clip, you actually do get to see the robot walking. And one of the things that the CEO actually said in this short clip was he basically said that, look, a lot of robots, the way that they walk in a very strange way. This is something that a lot of us have realized for humanoid robots for quite some time. We look at these robots, we see the way they walk, and sometimes we're just dumbfounded, surprised. I mean, there's a variety of different ways to describe it, but this is something that, yes, many people are wondering, why do humanoid robots walk? Now, of course, this is one of the problems that robotics has really faced recently, because, of course, it is tremendously hard to get robots to have a human-like gait. But if you've been paying attention to the channel and to companies that are trying to challenge Tesla as their Optimus robot, you'll remember that a couple of days ago, I showed you guys this, which is, of course, the Engine AI robot. And in this video, I showed you guys a robot that was able to have a perfect human-like gait. And this human-like gait was actually trained in simulation, which is something that a lot of robotics manufacturers are now starting to use. And if you don't know what that means, it basically allows them to speed up the rate of training the robot, because they train it not in a physical environment that is messy, where you can fool the robot, you can have expensive mistakes, but they train it in a virtual environment where you can speed up time 1,000, 2,000 times, 10,000 times even, and then you can iron out all the mistakes, iron out all the kinks, and then get a robot that is able to do exactly what you're seeing on screen. And it seems like, of course, this company, XPeng, have also been working on the same issue with their own humanoid robot. Now, it isn't the, most perfect robot, but it does look a lot better and a lot faster than some of the other companies that we have seen. So this kind of humanoid robot here, it's clear that on their first iteration, they've managed to do really well with how this humanoid robot looks, moves, and walks in terms of its agility, speed. And I can expect that in the future, it's quite likely that this robot is going to get faster. Now, one of the things, and one of the recent trends that we've seen in robotics, in humanoid robotics across many different companies, is the fact that these companies are actually using these humanoid robots to excel at different tasks. Remember when we had the Tesla actually use their Tesla bot to load certain, I'm not sure if these batteries or cartridges for some kind of advanced technology, but we could see that the Tesla bot was being able to be used for certain tasks in the Tesla factory. We also saw the UBTech Walker S robot being used on the production lines of these cars called the Neo cars, and this was something that was really fascinating as we got to
React to the video, YouTube settings, YouTube, YouTube. Intermix sector. Subscribe to the video.
see firsthand how these robots manage to perform in real-world environments. We also got to see another robot, which was the Figure robot, which is the Figure 2 model, which looks absolutely cool and futuristic, being able to do 100 autonomous neural network learned placement.
Go get fucked. Go get fucked. YouTube. Subscribe to the video.
Doing stuff in the factory. It was pretty crazy. I couldn't believe it the first time I saw it, but it was something that gave us a glimpse of insight into what they're going to be doing in the future. Self-correcting learned behavior, many different things that are useful for real-world tasks. Now, of course, it wasn't just other companies that were doing this. Quietly in the shadows, this company was also working on this as well. You can see that they also managed to get their humanoid robot working in the factory on a variety of different tasks. If you look here, you can see that this robot is able to do a variety of different tasks that a human is likely to do as well. And it's able to walk around the factory and use its vision systems to be able to analyze exactly what's going on in a variety of different scenes. So this is the kind of demo that it wasn't shared that much on Twitter, but once I did see this, I did see a lot of positive responses from people because I'm guessing they understood the monumental achievement that this is. A lot of the times when you see many different humanoid robot startups come out, they're often quite slow and often quite clunky and often...
So they are agreed.
So there's this Chinese company called Xpeng. So there's this Chinese... So...
Oopa, I nearly dropped it. Nearly did it. Oh, is that again?
While AI chatbots and AI-generated videos both feels like black magic, it doesn't mean that they are both born equally. They are indeed machine, but just look at this. This is the math for attention in language modeling, and this is...
Alright, reaction, YouTube, reaction, reaction, YouTube, Google, YouTube, Intermix sector, reaction to the video.
This is the math for only the denoising process and diffusion for image generation. On top of that, the majority of progress in language modeling has come not from architectural changes, but from scaling up data in model size. While image generation is currently on its fourth architectural evolution that went from GANs, VQGAN plus CLIP, latent diffusion, and now diffusion transformers, language modeling has been sitting on transformers this whole time, with each and every one of the image generators being a mathematical hell that makes you wonder, how in the world did people come up with this? As for video generation, the same machine learning idea from image generation could be applied too. And of course, it will be more complicated since it needs to accommodate the time dimension in order to have it become a video generator. So in this video, I'll be providing a conceptual overview of how video generators are made. This won't be a detailed mathematical breakdown, so if you're looking for something more technical, I'll link them down in the description. But it seems no one has created an explanation video on diffusion transformer-based video generator yet, which is unfortunate. And since there is barely any fully open sourced research about high quality video generation like Sora, people like us have no way to really learn how it's made and built from the ground up. Like if you ask anyone that knows Sora, how does DIT for video generation work, they would most likely not know anything about it. But luckily, the open source god has blessed us with this project called OpenSora. Developed by a bunch of brilliant open source researchers, it contains the golden knowledge we need in learning how Sora or even a decent video generator is actually made. But before we dive into it, let's take a big step back and understand the core objectives we are dealing with. So video generation can be summarized into two key challenges. The first is the generation quality, basically how visually appealing and realistic each frame of the video looks. Since image generation has made significant advances, video generation often builds on these techniques to create high quality individual frames. So this is not as big of a challenge as image generation has been pretty much perfected. The second challenge is temporal consistency. This involves making sure there are smooth transitions and coherent motion across frames. And so far, achieving seamless temporal consistency remains the most difficult aspect of video generation till this day. While it may sound simple, it requires simulating complex dynamics and sticking to the laws of physics to make movements appear natural and believable between frames. That's why people call video generators a world simulator, as it essentially needs to do what a physics simulator is able to do for every possible and logical motion we can imagine. Which brings us to the latest configuration of OpenSora. Since image generation models are already really good, so rather than reinventing the wheel, OpenSora adapted an existing and powerful text-to-image model called PixArt Alpha. Even if you're not familiar with the name, you may have come across it, not for its image generation, but for that one controversial carbon emission diagram published in its research paper. Despite the controversy, PixArt Alpha is still known for being an efficiently trained, high-quality image generation model, making it an ideal choice for cost savings, especially considering how GPU poor the open source researchers are. This text-to-image model is also a diffusion transformer model, which means unlike standard diffusion-based models, it doesn't use UNets to process images, that is, to obtain fine details and big features through compressing and expanding an image. Instead, this model uses a transformer to replace the part to process images. Why the switch? So the image generation researchers probably looked over at the language model researchers and saw their state-of-the-art architecture has not changed at all in the past few years, which gave rise to using an NLP architecture for image generation tasks. And it works. All you had to do is to make the transformer denoises. Some suspect that while UNets are great at processing local patterns, transformers are better at capturing global patterns in data thanks to its attention mechanism. This means that DIT models can potentially offer better understanding of complex relationships across large image dimensions, even with the addition of time dimension, which would make more sense when we need to consider temporal consistency in video generation. So a slight modification is needed from the PixArt Alpha structure. Okay, so do you see that one multi-head self-attention block? That block is the part of the model that would understand the compositions of an image, aka a spatial attention block. So to also make the model understand the changes between frames, another multi-head self-attention block is added, which is called the temporal attention block. So after the modifications, this is how the transformer layer roughly looks like now, with a bit of simplification of course. And as you give the diagram a closer look, you will notice two things that are going into the transformer layer. One of them is injecting the video that is processed through a VAE encoder, and the other is injecting the prompt that is processed through a T5 text encoder. If you know what clip is, the T5 text encoder is just clip but more descriptive. But if you are unfamiliar, the T5 text encoder essentially converts input text into a sequence of latent representations. That basically means it converts the semantic meaning from the input text into numbers, which then can be used to guide and condition the model much more efficiently. For the VAE encoder, since processing images directly in the pixel space is highly inefficient, a trainable VAE encoder is used to compress images into a latent representation that retains the essential image information, which makes it very efficient to process. So the same approach is applied to video frames as well. But the temporal information between frames needs to be stored too for video generation, right? So what the researchers did was to yoink an existing 2D and 3D VAE, which are from SDXL and MagVIT V2 respectively, then mix them together and fine-tune it to make this OpenSora VAE to encode video frames. With SDXL's 2D VAE, it already has a really strong 2D feature representations, and by adding the 3D VAE on top, they hope the 2D feature representations can also help comprehend the temporal dimension, which the 3D VAE provides the processing space for. But since the temporal information doesn't need to be updated as frequently, the temporal signal is then weaker, where it's only applied once every 4 frames. Well, that is to also save processing power, of course. The T5 is inserted from the side to also suggest it is conditioning the model. So in the generation stage, you just need to pass in a noisy latent condition on on the T5, which is your text prompt, then the model will basically run as a denoising transformer where you iteratively take out the less denoised output at the end and put it back into the front to denoise it even further. Then the fully denoised output will be reformatted together as a generated video. But if the whole generation process still confuses you, let's turn it into an analogy. You can imagine a noisy latent like a 3D cuboid. The X and Y is the image size and the Z is the fixed amount of frames. And you can think of the whole denoising process like baking a bread, where you put the noisy latent, which is like a bread dough that doesn't expand, into a fixed container, which is like a baking mold, and the denoising transformer is like the oven that will denoise the cuboid, which is like baking the dough and turn it into a bread. The T5 is like choosing what ingredients the bread uses, which will determine what type of bread it will come out at the end. Once the cube is finished baking, it will not be noisy anymore, and you would take the bread out of the container. And now you can reconstruct this cuboid into a video. I have definitely oversimplified things, but this is the basic video generation logic right here, and let me know if you do want a dedicated video on diffusion transformers if this was not clear enough. So now that's out of the way, all that's left is to replicate the features and functions that Sora has. As outlined in OpenAI Sora's report, the key features besides its architecture is that back when Sora is trained, the training data is able to maintain its original resolution, aspect ratio, and video length during training. As a result, this enhances the flexibility, framing, and composition of the model. So OpenSora's researchers have 3 ideas in mind to replicate Sora's training method. The first is using an AVIT, which supports dynamic resolution sizes and video length within the same batch using masking with minimal efficiency loss. Using the baking analogy, this is like setting the container for the bread to be elastic. However, the elastic container will be complex to make, aka hard to implement, and since it will not be metal that conducts the heat well due to it being elastic, which means it may not fully utilize optimized kernels like flash attention, it will take a lot of time to bake. The second method is padding, which supports dynamic resolution sizes and video length by padding within the same batch. So since the bread needs to fit the baking container perfectly, and you can leave any gaps between the bread and the container, you would pad things within the baking container to make it fit. But this method is not ideal because first you need to pad different dimensions to the same size, and second, the impurities that come from the padding would make the bread taste bad. So you need to either unify the dimensions for all the breads or the baking containers. Which brings us to the third method, bucketing, which supports dynamic sizes across different batches by having different dimensions of baking containers. So instead of padding the bread, you can sort the bread based on the type of container it will fit in. Though all items within the same batch must have the same dimensions, and only a fixed set of resolutions can be applied. And keep in mind, this baking analogy is imperfect because the training stage now kind of doesn't make sense, where we are essentially putting a baked bread into the oven, but the generation stage do still follow the actual logical baking process, where a noisy latent that is like a dough is put into a baking container and shoved into an oven, then guided using T5. Okay, anyways, given its simplicity, the researchers chose the bucketing method. While bucketing has some limitations, these concerns are minor as they do not significantly affect the performance. So that does also sets up the very basics of resolution and video length controls for the users. But the real fun is the generative video editing tasks. For things like setting an initial frame or an ending frame, this is also one of the most appreciated functionalities that an AI video generator can offer. And in order to achieve this, a masking strategy is needed. Here's how it works. For adding these type of functionalities, certain frames are unmasked, meaning they are visible to the model and provide conditioning, while other frames are masked or hidden and need to be generated. The unmasked frames are assigned at a time step of 0, signaling the model to treat them as reference points, while the masked frames retain their original time step, indicating they should be predicted. At first, this strategy produced poor results when applied directly to a pre-trained model because the model hasn't been trained to condition on frames. To address this, the researchers introduced a random masking strategy. During training, frames in the data were randomly unmasked at different intervals, such as the first frame, the last frame, or just some random time steps, which allows the model to encounter a variety of conditioning scenarios. This way, the model could learn how to manage different combinations of masked and unmasked frames, improving its ability to handle image and video conditioning tasks. In practice, this random masking strategy was applied with a 50% probability during training, meaning that half the data included masking while the other half did not. However, this masking strategy will create a slight drop in performance for text to video generation. But if we use a lower masking probability, like 30%, it will result in much worse conditioning capabilities, which shows that striking the right balance during training is critical. Nonetheless, this masking strategy provides the model ability to handle image and video generation tasks in a flexible and dynamic way, which makes them much more useful even at the trade-off with generation quality. And to recover from the generation quality drop-off, as usual, we would need more data. And so preparing the training data for video generation with a lot of dimensions that you need to consider, the data processing pipeline is definitely going to be a nightmare. It goes something like video scene cut, aesthetic filtering, optical flow score, optical character recognition, add captioning to videos, match scores, caption camera motions, a lot of miscellaneous cleaning. Then we have the dataset, which is a really complicated process and definitely sound like a boring one. So let's not be bothered with that. Instead, you should try out Luma's Dream Machine that implements the masking strategy that we just talked about, which is much more fun than listening to some data curation rambling. If you missed out getting rickrolled in the other video, here's another showcase where you can get a shot of a bar to an actual bar that pans into a rickroll, or a busy street that's actually just Rick Astley vibing in his music video. This was done using the latest version of their keyframe function, which lets you select both an initial and an ending frame. So to get the result above, you can choose the image to start the video and put an ending frame that is taken from any frame from the rickroll. There are various other services like Runway or
Okay, you have to come to this video. I have to go back.
While AI chatbot
Sora, the guy says, oh, did I go too far?
While AI chatbots and AI
I don't know how I'm going to do it. So, Sora, anyway.
While AI chatbots and AI generated
I'll leave it on that so then I can go back to the writing. Anyway, if I do it wrong or whatever, subscribe. One more.
The best free and paid AI training courses to take in November. Love it or loathe it, AI is here and it isn't going anywhere. With its market size projected to reach a scarcely believable $1,339 billion by 2030. It's time to start honing your skills, or you might risk getting left behind. Fortunately, this needn't be cause for alarm.
Gotta go faster.
In fact,
Gotta go faster because I haven't got all day. How do you do that? Oh, this one.
there are dozens of AI courses out there that can help you embrace the best free and paid AI training courses to take in November. Love it or loathe it, AI is here and it isn't going anywhere. With its market size projected to reach a scarcely believable $1,339 billion by 2030. It's time to start honing your skills, or you might risk getting left behind. Fortunately, this needn't be cause for alarm. In fact, there are dozens of AI courses out there that can help you embrace the immense opportunity that the frighteningly useful technology.
Yeah, they're saying this as well, that if you don't get hooked on it or don't do anything, it'll fly in front of your brains, in front of your TV, in front of everybody's learning AI tricks and tips and things, and you fucked up and you fucking dumb fuck you.
Technology poses, and luckily, a lot of the material provided can often be accessed free of charge. Whether you want to brush up on responsible usage, prompt and
Subscribe to Intermix Sector, subscribe to my channel.
engineering, or large language model, LLM, learning. Enrolling in one of the courses that we've outlined below is a good place to start. So, read on to find out more. Free AI training courses you can start in November. Although there are vastly more paid AI courses out there than free ones, you don't necessarily have to break the bank to learn more about AI. In fact, there are several organizations offering free training courses this November. We've outlined some of our favorites below. Intel. Computing giant Intel is on a mission to help 30 million people gain AI skills by 2030. To help with this initiative, they've got several free online courses and tutorials that you can get access to. Topics range from machine learning to anomaly detection, and can take anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks to complete. Here are some other examples. Natural language processing, 12 weeks. Time series analysis, 8 weeks. Deep learning inference with FPGAs, 5 weeks. If you're keen to dip your toes in the AI water, it's the perfect place to start. Find out more on Intel's course portal. Amazon Web Services. Enroll in Generative AI, the art of the possible for a light introduction to Gen AI, including what it can do for your business and pros and cons. At just an hour, this is a real beginner's course. You can find out more about it and apply here. If you want something a little more hands-on from Amazon's AI Learning Hub, simply try Amazon's Barterock interactive tool, which will help you learn about prompt engineering through trial and error and how you can build apps without code. There's also a 3D racing simulator game from more advanced machine learning whizzes, and although you'll have to pay eventually, you can get up to 10 hours of usage time completely free. 365 data science. For the next 13 days, all content and certificates are completely free to access on 365 data science for up to 3 weeks. Do not adjust your television set, that's 85 plus courses.
Fuck you. You have to go learn this shit. You gotta go learn it. If not, you miss out. You fucking die, dog. Fuck you. Fuck, this is good shit. Very fucking incredible. YouTube, Google, Bing, AI News.
Courses, achievement certificates, real world
Subscribe to my channel, Intermix Sector. Subscribe to my channel.
data projects, and hours of tuition, all for free. There's quite a wide range to choose from regardless of your technical level. For instance, you can start with introductory sessions that give you a broad overview of different AI topics, or head straight to the more advanced level SQL and visualization courses. Head over to 365 Data Science website to take advantage of this fantastic offer before it expires. DeepLearning.ai. Courtesy of DeepLearning.ai, you could take 7 video lessons on improving accuracy of LLM applications, comprising just 100 minutes. Over this duration, you'll learn steps to improve your model's reliability and accuracy, how memory tuning can boost performance, and build an LLM application with the Llama 3 to 8B model. Check out the website for more information. Physiopedia International. For the next 8 days, you can access the AI Masterclass for Healthcare Professionals program for free. Over 6 to 7 hours, you'll gain deeper insight into the use of AI in clinical practice, education, and research. As a self-paced course, you can take the classes at any time and at any location. What's more, it's accredited, so you'll get a certificate at the end, and that's not always a given with free AI courses. If you're a healthcare professional and you'd like to sign up, visit the website today. Paid AI training courses you can start this November. As you may have guessed, if you've spent any time on the internet recently looking for free AI courses, they can't always be found in abundance. With this in mind, we've put together some of the most exciting and interesting paid AI courses. Purdue University Applied Generative AI Specialization. Start date, November 20th, 2024. Admission closes on November 13th. Program duration, 16 weeks, 50 plus hours. Purdue University offers a comprehensive 16-week course focused on learning to develop and deploy Gen AI applications. As a part of this, successful applicants will study LLMs, attention mechanisms, LLM application development, and more. Offered in partnership with Microsoft Azure, the course takes place online, with several accolades on offer. These include a program certificate from Purdue University Online and Simple-Learn, Purdue Alumni Association membership eligibility, a course completion certificate hosted on the Microsoft Learn portal, and the chance to build Gen AI-enabled apps over 7 projects. What's more, candidates will gain familiarity with several cutting-edge tools throughout the syllabus, with examples including Python, ChatGPT, Hugging Face, LangChain, and more. Naturally, exposure to these advanced programs will give your employability chances a healthy shot in the arm. With a future career as a Gen AI developer, data scientist, or architect, one step closer. If you're eager to explore your options, Purdue offers a few other AI-related courses that are worth looking into. These include Gen AI for Business, Gen AI for Practitioners, and No-Code AI and ML. Head over to the website for more information and to apply online. University of California, Berkeley, Artificial Intelligence, Business Strategies and Applications. Start date unknown. Admission closes on November 14th. Program duration, 2 months, 4 to 6 hours per week. Another institution right at the forefront of AI in education is the University of California, Berkeley. The university offers several courses to take your knowledge to the next level. Our pick of the bunch, Business Strategies and Applications, unfolds online. Over 2 months. Students will get to grips with the current AI landscape and its future, learn how to use AI tools and simulations to hone predictions, organize and manage successful AI-related projects, and much more. In addition to hours of online learning, you'll also get access to 4 live sessions, each led by a specialist faculty. These are titled The Business of AI Today, Generative AI Models and Simulation for Prediction, AI in Organizations, Building Your Team, and the Future of AI in Business. If that sounds like a lot, that's because it is. Comprising 8 modules, this course is not for the faint-hearted. But if you complete it, you'll be awarded a verified digital certificate from UC Berkeley Executive Education, while the course also counts towards a certificate of business excellence. IDEO AIX Design Thinking Workshop Series. Start date, November 20th or January 29th. Program duration, 3 hours. Keen to know more about AI but can't commit to hours and hours of learning? IDEO's 3-part workshop series might just be for you. Throughout 3 live sessions, you'll learn how to use AI to boost your idea generation, research synthesis, and prototyping. You'll find out how AI tools work and how you can use them to add an invaluable skill to your design thinking toolkit. At just 60 minutes per session, it's perfect for beginners, and at $250 for the 3 sessions, it's priced as such. Check out the website to find out more and apply. Stanford University, Artificial Intelligence Professional Program. Start date, November 11th. Admission deadline unknown. Program duration, 10 weeks per course, 10 to 15 hours per week. One of the most esteemed institutions in the US, Stanford also offers a wide-ranging online program for prospective AI enthusiasts. Totaling 8 courses, the program is made up of online lectures, coding and written assignments, group calls, and one-on-one tuition. The courses in question are reinforcement learning, deep generative models, deep multitask and meta-learning, artificial intelligence, principles and techniques, natural language processing with deep learning, natural language understanding, machine learning with graphs, and machine learning. This breadth of content and tuition is designed to equip students with the skills to build their own AI models and algorithms, debug code, accurately evaluate AI model results, implement generative language models, and more. In short, it's an incredibly rigorous course, and if you're not proficient in Python, calculus, linear algebra, and probability theory, it's probably not for you. But if you tick those boxes and you want to learn more, head to the Stanford online website. Northwestern University, AI Applications for Growth. Start date, November 21st. Admission deadline unknown. Program duration, 2 months, 4 to 6 hours per week. Last up on our list is Northwestern University, which offers a course specifically geared towards solving business problems through AI. In 8 modules, participants will explore the potential of AI in business through practical examples, evaluate Gen AI as a tool of business, and navigate ethical concerns in order to drive responsible and effective initiatives. Fair warning, this course isn't for beginners. Ideal candidates will be experienced executives, managers, and consultants, alongside investors who want to gain a deeper understanding of this burgeoning technology. But if you're accepted, expect live sessions, dedicated program support teams, peer learning and feedback, grading, and more. For more information and to apply online, head to the website. Meta, Amazon, and Apple bosses respond to Trump win. Leaders from several major tech companies, including Sam Altman, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg, have congratulated President-elect Donald Trump on his historic victory in the U.S. presidential election on Tuesday. Bezos dubbed the result an extraordinary political comeback, while Altman hoped that Trump will find huge success in the job. Cook, too. Looks forward to engaging with you and your administration. They're joined by a number of other high-profile executives from big players across the industry. The world waits with bated breath to see how Trump's second term shakes out. Across the tech sector, it is hoped that the Republican will favor light touch regulation, as well as high tariffs on foreign imports, in an attempt to drive up domestic business efforts. Tech leaders congratulate Trump on election victory. Tech CEOs from several leading companies, including Amazon, Apple, Meta, and OpenAI, have moved to congratulate President-elect Donald Trump on his triumph over Kamala Harris. On Tuesday, the Republican nominee fended off competition from the current vice president to cement a second term in the Oval Office. Writing on X, formerly Twitter, Bezos wished big congratulations to our 45th and now 47th president. Tim Cook, meanwhile, expressed his eagerness to help make sure the United States continues to lead with and be fueled by ingenuity, innovation, and creativity. Striking a slightly less enthusiastic tone, Altman simply stated congrats to President Trump. I wish for his huge success in the job, before issuing a follow-up post in which he called for developing AI with democratic values. Writing on Threads, Zuckerberg called the outcome a decisive victory and claimed we have great opportunities ahead of us as a country. Figures expressing similar sentiments include the likes of Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, and LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman. Zuckerberg and co-hope for clean slate. Trump is notorious for, among other things, his explosive outbursts and public spats. In recent years, Zuckerberg has proved one of his biggest targets. He was labeled Zuckerstruck by the former president in March, who went on to call Meta the true enemy of the people, as reported by CNBC. Bezos, too, is no stranger to Trump's unpredictable ire. A few weeks ago, the Washington Post owner personally intervened to stop the publication from endorsing a presidential candidate. He later defended his decision in an op-ed, claiming that endorsements create the perception of bias despite the fact that the Post has regularly supported candidates since 1976. Clearly, both men are hoping for a more fruitful relationship with the president-elect this time around. It will be fascinating to see whether or not that pans out. Tech players currying favor with president-elect. With a Trump second term just 2 months away, the tech sector waits in eager anticipation. Speculation is mounting that Trump will look to slash red tape, a move which would no doubt delight Bezos. The billionaire's Blue Origin company has fallen foul of the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, in its bid to rival Musk's own SpaceX. Elon Musk, meanwhile, stands to gain the most from the Republican second term, as Trump's closest ally during the campaign run-in. Musk's America PAC pledged nearly $75 million to the Trump campaign. Shares in Tesla rallied by more than 13% on Wednesday, with investors betting that Trump will handsomely reward the electric vehicle maker. Whichever way the dice fall, expect to see leaders from across the industry falling over themselves to congratulate Trump in the coming months. NVIDIA reveals new AI aimed at training humanoid robots. The robots are coming. At least, that's what NVIDIA is hoping for, with the technology company revealing a new AI system that can improve the functionality of humanoid robots. At this point, what can't AI do, right? The technology is being used to generate content, produce images, and even create podcasts out of thin air, with more and more use cases being announced every day. Now, human robots are on the menu for AI advocates, and it could help usher in a new era of robotics, albeit an unsettling one for our robot fans. NVIDIA going big on robots. At the conference for robot learning, Coral, in Munich this week, NVIDIA announced a wide range of AI and humanoid robot-related initiatives that would see the company heavily invested in their development. As for what these initiatives will aim to accomplish, the NVIDIA blog post announcing the technology did a great job of laying it out for us. The lineup includes the general availability of the NVIDIA Isaac Lab Robot Learning Framework, 6 new humanoid robot learning workflows for Project GR0T, an initiative to accelerate humanoid robot development, and new world model development tools for video data curation and processing, including the NVIDIA Cosmos Tokenizer and NVIDIA Nemo Curator for video processing. Are humanoid robots really going to be a thing? While humanoid robots may sound like a far-fetched idea to some, the reality is that AI and other evolving technologies are making weird science fiction stuff very much possible. NVIDIA is, of course, not the only company that is working on this kind of technology, with Tesla announcing a range of humanoid robots alongside its self-driving cars that can perform a variety of tasks, like babysitting your kid or walking your dog, according to CEO Elon Musk. Suffice to say, humanoid robots may very well be on the way in the coming years, particularly if the richest man in the world and one of the biggest AI companies in the world are on board. NVIDIA is on a roll. To be fair, NVIDIA jumping on board the humanoid robot train in such a big way is a good indicator that this kind of technology is right around the corner. If only because the tech company has been on such a roll lately. With more than its fair share of competitors in the space, NVIDIA has become the unofficial poster child for AI development, riding the generative AI wave to become the third most valuable company in the world thanks to its impressive chip production. Simply put, you could soon be ditching your smartphone for a humanoid robot that will do everything for you, especially with NVIDIA on the job.
The next episode on your playlist is not yet downloaded, so mobile data will be used to stream the episode.
To reduce mobile data usage, please pause the app.
It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Paris Martineau is here. Jeff Jarvis is here. Coming up, the latest Pixel enhancements. October's Pixel drop is here. Plus, this is Twig. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 792, recorded Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. 5 to 10 people at your door. It's the writing. Don't cue the music. Oh, you ordered the and shoot. Reach your see what's Clippy. Everything is becoming kind of this idiot savant.
Can we have that for our show title?
Clipification? I think so. We'll make it the show title. I think, and here's the problem is if it's flooding the zone with just, and it's not evil or bad. It's trivial. It's
banal.
It's banal.
I mean, I've noticed this recently.
Is it banal or banal?
Banal.
I was taught banal, but okay. Okay, a little. We gotta get this right here. Let's see.
I know it's banal.
Banal. Yeah. Banal. Okay.
There's no alternative.
Okay.
There is none. It's something I've noticed recently with looking at posts on Twitter. If you look under a popular post on Twitter, X, the Everything app, what have you, the 10 or 20 replies you see underneath it.
Nobody
all
calls
clear.
it the Everything app. Nobody.
That's the thing is, if I call it X, I do have to say X the Everything app because I think that's very
even
funny.
funnier. Okay, from now on, that's how we're going to do it.
The 10 or 20 replies underneath your average tweet are, if it's a
garbage.
popular tweet, they're all AI generated. And they're all trying to restate the same thing in the tweet or approach it in the same way because it's clearly coming from the same model. And it's just slop. It's slop begets slop. It's awful.
It is. It's slop all the way down.
It's my friend Matthew Kirschenbaum. It's the textpocalypse.
Yeah. Is this what happens to your ex posts? Paris, is that you just get a lot of...
I haven't found that much, and for whenever I have posts that go viral, I mute them because I don't want to have to deal with that. Because I think after a certain point, the notifications are too unwieldy and they have diminishing returns.
Yeah.
However, I've noticed this on any post that basically comes across my For You page now. You look at all the replies, and it's just slop.
Wow.
It's hard to even find a human response, and now Twitter has introduced kind of the feature on, I guess, some instances of the mobile app where you can reorder the comments or the replies underneath by most liked or most recent, basically in order to get around the problem created by making it so that anybody with a blue check gets automatically pinned to the top, to where you can kind of try to surface organic replies. But at a certain point, it doesn't even matter. They're just kind of swarmed by all this nonsense.
So let the word go forth, not to trust the outputs of LLMs. That use
it for brainstorming, for ideas, for creativity. Don't use it for anything that matters. Because we know it doesn't work. And it ate AGI around the corner. It can't figure out what a peanut butter sandwich is.
Well, and importantly, you as a human need to disintermediate AI. You need to stand between AI's output and the real world.
Just kind of do it yourself.
Well, look, if I gave you 12 scientific papers and you asked AI for a summary, by the way, a new feature that is in Apple Intelligence, which is now in all Macs and iOS devices of recent vintage, it has a summarized thing. You would find that useful.
Oh, yeah, especially for a strategy column. I use that. I honestly do that every time.
Do you feel like you still have to read the column and compare the output?
I get through 3/4 of it and I say, oh, jeez.
I know.
And then I put it in Notebook LM.
And it does a good job, right?
It does, yeah. And that's not earth-shattering. That's not vital.
Yeah, you wouldn't use it to make life and death decisions, but to summarize and save you some time. Maybe.
I just hope my doctor doesn't use it to make life and death decisions.
Well, that's right.
Me.
As somebody in our YouTube chat says AIs don't do amputations, humans do.
So
robots.
far.
Robots. My prostate went out with a robot, man. So, Paris, you lost Dr. Don or whatever his name was, your doctor you liked?
Dr. Dan. I lost
Dr.
him to
Dan.
Washington,
I was
D.C.
close.
R.I.P.
So, you're still with Amazon Health?
I'm still with One Medical, which is now part of Amazon, yes. And I
So do you think they're going to be the first Normandy for the invasion of AI into medical care?
Oh,
Because
wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah.
I'll
gotta
ask
think
next time I'm there. I'm sure that they will try and integrate some aspect of it. My understanding of Amazon's approach to this area, which is technically concierge medicine, is that it was their original interest in entering this area was to build a kind of luxurious-esque product for largely like enterprise clients like Google or other big companies that sell this, like a One Medical subscription as a service to their employees or like a benefit. And so part of the, cost benefit analysis for a company like Amazon is they want to be able to offer their customers, in this case being big like enterprise clients, they want to be able to offer them overall reduced healthcare spending. And that often ends up being by having patients interact with doctors more. So I'm not sure that would immediately translate to introducing AI into the mix. Because, maybe if Amazon just decides to go whole hog on the AI will make everything better train, sure. But right now, kind of the whole ethos of One Medical, or at least why I seem to like it, and what whenever I'm there, the doctors usually remember that I used to cover Amazon and tell me about what's just generally going on there. Well, this is what me and Dan would do every time, is he'd be like, here's how things are going. And so far, it seems to be all right for them. I think they might have to see slightly more patience, but so far
Did we
it doesn't seem to
talk
have big
about
changes.
the Apple summary, notification summary feature and how it told a guy he was getting dumped?
Yeah, I don't think we did, but that's my two exposures to it are a guy who was told in brief he was getting dumped and a guy who got a summary of his mom's text, which was originally about how she went on a killer hike and is now coming home, and got a summary that said, hike resulted in her death. She is now coming home, or something like that.
Oh my cow! So this is a feature, again, rolling out in iOS 18.1 to all Apple users who are using late model iPhones, iPads, and Macs. Here's the tweet from Nick, got his 01. Nick is a developer. For anyone who's wondered what Apple Intelligence summary of a breakup text looks like, and he posts it, no longer in a relationship, wants belongings from the apartment. Nick says, yes, this is real. Yes, it happened yesterday. Yes, it was my birthday. Ooh, burn. But if you read
the one I found in the Discord.
If you read the original text, it's actually an accurate summary. That's what happened. It is kind of harsh. Here it is. Oh, this is terrible. This is from Andrew Schmidt on X.com. My mom.
The everything site.
The X.com, the everything site. Apple's AI summary attempted suicide but recovered and hiked in Redlands of Palm Springs. And the ground truth was that hike almost killed me. Wow.
It lost the almost. I guess it didn't in the sense that she did. She died and then she came back from the dead and then
it almost killed me.
So this is the thing about AI. It has no ability to have reality.
It doesn't know context. Yes, it does.
It cannot test against reality. There is no reality. There is no meaning. It is the ultimate nihilist, Paris. It is an entirely nihilist universe that has no meaning. That's what AI is.
And yet I have to say,
that gives a bad name to nihilists. Come on. Me and Benito here holding up the fort.
I've had this feature for some time, and there are some useful things. For instance, it says my Ring doorbell, 5 to 10 people were at my front door, not all at once. That's rolled up.
Oh, you forgot you.
I love that it makes it seem like there's a gang at your front door, but it's probably just you going in and out your front door a couple times.
It was me. So isn't that funny? But at the same time, it's better.
5 to 10 people at your front door is so funny.
It's better than like 10 messages one after another as somebody comes and goes and comes and goes. Well, I know better. I know that 5 to 10 people are at my front door.
Well, then it's 5 to 10. Can it count?
Yeah, doesn't it know how many people were at your door because it's got a camera there?
Okay, so this is what I would have gotten without the summary. I think you can see that. There's a
so the 5 to 10 people is an Apple summary, not a Ring summary.
Yes, that's from Apple. That's the Apple Intelligence.
Why is person capitalized and front door is capitalized? That bothers me a lot.
Well, that's Ring. This is the Ring notification. It also capitalized person. So you're right. That's kind of bad grammar or something. But it's somebody was coming and going, I guess. And so, and the Apple summary was a little strange.
Well, the summary is also, they're all gone now because you only got a summary. You didn't get the notifications.
No, I got both. I can expand it. So I expanded the one. Yeah.
I'm curious, Leo, does this work? Does the Apple summary work for like group chats?
Yes.
Will it try to summarize like an hour? Like my group chat probably in an hour can do a couple hundred messages depending on what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Will it try to summarize that?
I don't
for me?
know. I don't know.
I'll have to download the new update.
Yeah, you
I'll
need
do that right
18.1,
now.
and you need to apply, which is weird because it'll tell you in about 5 minutes, okay, you're in. I mean, it's like, it's not exactly the most exclusive nightclub in the world.
I also want to know how it's going to take like inside jokes and stuff that you only say to.
Well, can you imagine Paris's feed?
I suspect it's going to be a source of much mirth and merriment.
Yes.
You get a lot of these screenshots in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, get ready. Your X.com, the Everything app feed, will be full.
What's it called? Apple. If I'm going to search Twitter for it now.
Apple Intelligence. Or Apple AI. You could try that as well. It's pretty funny.
Oh, hey. That just came up.
Hey,
Apple
somebody else
Intelligence may need to append a correction to this summary. What?
I gotta do something. Gotta go to this one. Upa, upa. Upa, upa. Upa, upa. And I gotta do two donuts, two. One sport. Oh, this is okay. Gotta do two. Download. Download. The Go APK app, and that one. Okay, that one. And then this one in Sports on Sport. Sony 1 plus 2 plus 3 and Android APK. Okay, so we'll go to the other one. Go to this one. What does it say?
Goals APK download for Android 2024. Up call. Is the first available completely free sports platform especially introduced to provide complete content related to sports? Watch live TV, sports TV channels, informative content, sports schedules, inside information, and much more relevant content. Download. Goals APK download for Android 2024. Up call.
Go.
Is the first available completely free sports platform especially introduced to provide complete content related to sports? Watch live TV, sports TV channels, informative content, sports schedules, inside information, and much more relevant content. Download this newly available sports application and have unlimited fun. Among all entertainment forms, sports is the most popular type. Billions of people all over the globe love to watch various types of sports content. However, watching live sports was previously only possible on television. So, we are here with a better option for you all to get all such services on Android smartphones. Get details related to this new app here. What is Goals app? Goals is an Android entertainment application. This app is specially developed to get the best collection of sports content. Therefore, watching live matches, reading information content, getting schedules, and much more is possible on this single app. Get access to the best sports combination of Android devices with this single app. Sports is an important entertainment form. However, this form of content is considered to be premium entertainment. Because most of the available platforms only offer premium-based services. Therefore, limited users can access the available services. So, we are here with the best solution to access free services. Learn about this new way of non-stop free entertainment. Goals Android is the first third-party Android entertainment application offering completely free sports content. Although other apps are available offering sports IPTV. But this app provides a completely free entertainment combination. Hence, get the best combo of advanced level services and have unlimited fun. Nobart Fandig Sports Livid V also provides similar entertainment services. Sports content. No more limited content. This app isn't developed for any specific sports. Therefore, all types of sports content are available on this single platform. Enjoy getting a unique and diverse collection of entertainment content on an Android device and have unlimited fun. Explore all types of content and enjoy your free time. Football, volleyball, basketball, badminton, more. Live Sports Channels. This application provides a dedicated section offering live sports channels. In this section, all live sports are available. Therefore, watching live matches on an Android device is possible using this section. Additionally, multiple TV channels are also available offering different content. Hence, explore the live section and enjoy watching live sports matches. Highlights.
Okay. How do you download it? Or do you want here? Oh, this is called APK Cole. Okay, APK Cole. APK Cole. We have to leave it so we can put it on the description. Can't lose it, otherwise you'll be fucked in the head. And the other one, APK, this one.
Sports Zone 1.2.3 APK free download of toy. Sports Zone 1.2.3 APK. Rating 130 votes, 4.5/5. Latest version 1.2.3. Category SIPS Entertainment. Updated Mar 02/2022. Offered by Packager.com.SportPlanet.SportZone. Report flag as inappropriate. Download APK 13.56 megabyte old version. This is an original APK file. It's safe to download and free of any virus.
How do you advance it? How do you make it so it's advanced or download the Sports Zone? How do you get rid of this shit? How do you get rid of this shit? This is what you have to do. Why is this shit happening? Why is this dog doing this shit? It's gonna fuck my phone up. Gonna have to have fingerprint all the time to go in. Sports Zone. I'm trying to download Sports Zone. I don't know why. My mind's saying that's the one to go for. Just keeps it rain, does it? Anyway, get the Sports Zone. It's in many platforms. See, it says Sports Zone. Spelled together, Sports Zone together, APK. This free APK offer live sport to Sports Zone is on Subsonic. Anyway. Not kidding.
Google is testing the ultimate search system thanks to AI, Softonic. With the rise of generative AI bots, it seemed that Google's dominance in web searches would be seriously threatened for the first time in a long time. Fortunately, Google is doing its own thing, and its goal is to continue improving its browser and the way we search for information. Subscribe to the Softonic newsletter and get the latest in tech, gaming, entertainment, and deals right in your inbox. Subscribe, it's free. According to the well-known Informant at Assembledebug, Google is experimenting with a real-time conversational search experience on mobile. Just chat with Google, and the results automatically change with each entry as follow-up questions are asked or new ones are sent. SportsZone APK for Android, download. This free app offers live sports to enthusiasts. SportsZone is a multimedia application that offers live streaming of channels. It provides access to live sports matches and is designed for sports enthusiasts. With a keen interest in a variety of sporting events, it aims to provide viewers with a simple streaming process, high-quality visuals, and uninterrupted entertainment. Game on anytime, anywhere. SportsZone provides access to an impressive collection of IPTV channels that broadcast live sports matches. The streaming process can be initiated directly within the app. Once the preferred channel is selected, the live feed is displayed directly on the user's device. That said, the quality of the stream can vary depending on the user's internet connection. For those with a high-speed connection, the experience can be seamless and enjoyable. However, for users with slower internet, the streaming quality may be compromised, leading to a less than optimal viewing experience. For sports aficionados, SportsZone offers live streaming of sports matches to viewers. However, the quality of streaming depends largely on the user's internet connection, meaning viewers could end up with a less than perfect viewing experience if their connection is unstable. That said, for those with a passion for sports, this is a convenient option. Pros: access to live sports matches, high-quality visuals. Cons: streaming quality depends on the user's connection.
Oh, I downloaded it. Not that one. Download has started. What was the next one? Toggle. Go. Go. Live TV APK. What's that about? I just tricked it. I just bugged it.
Live TV APK for Android, download. App specs. License. Free. Version. Latest update. July 19th, 2024. Platform. Android. OS. Android 13.0. Language. English. Downloads. 39. Developer. Download options. APK, Google Play. File name. Combrainatoms Live TV -1051,670,972 CF71 F9504 F60 C87 F15 F8 C20938889.apk. Report software. Program available in other languages. Descarga Livid VS. Unda Livid VID. Livid V Indir TR. Escacha Temyahikis Nok Livid Viru.
Okay. I'm downloading it. It's doing something. Okay, we go to open. Portuguese, Uruguay, Brazil, finish. Getting data. Could this be dangerous? Anyway. Anyway. It's not, I don't know why it's not like. Anyway. But the one I got up there. Oh, the video. Not more. Why am I recording the video? That one. Just put live TV. I'll give you the description. Just on the computer. Okay, I'm out. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost. I'm lost. supposed to put other apps that you can win money on apps and AI IDs. I'm into me sector, I'm into me sector, I'm into me sector, and goodbye. I love you.